The World Health Organization's COVID-19 Special Envoy David Nabarro has appreciated India's efforts against the virus. Nabarro has said that the administration has done a fine job given how densely populated India is. He also noted that there were several districts in India which had reported no cases. Listen in.
Well, you mentioned that India has scaled up its testing, but when I look at the percentage positive results from the testing, I see that it's usually around 3%, 4%, 5%. That's a good sign. It means that the testing increase is actually telling us that there's still a lot of virus in the country, but it's not suggesting that there is a really rapid increase in the spread of the virus. However, there are some really tricky issues for the Indian authorities to cope with. The virus is particularly concentrated in areas of high population density, and these are mostly in the cities. I've been looking at Mumbai, Ahmedabad, New Delhi, Chennai, and I understand there are other cities as well where the virus is present. And so the real challenge for the authorities is to try to find ways to best contain outbreaks in these densely populated areas. It's hard for people to isolate when they're living very, very closely together. It's hard to practice physical distancing when people, in order to maintain their employment, are having to move around in these densely populated areas. It's hard also to maintain the intense contact tracing when people feel that perhaps that is creating some intrusion on their personal privacy. And so I'd like to encourage the authorities in India and the people in India to continue showing the world how it is you can get on top of this virus and get ahead of the outbreaks in very densely populated areas. I think all of us are with the people of India, knowing that this is a major challenge, and we wish you the very best as you work through this and try to find ways to make sure that the virus can be contained in densely populated areas, that people's economies and their employment can continue, and that we can also make sure that people who are particularly poor can be supported at this time. It's a tough one, and it's one that I know the authorities are really focused on. I also noticed that in India you have many districts where there's absolutely no COVID at all. That's great. And what we want to do is to support you in whatever way we can as you continue to try to keep those areas free of the virus, even though at the same time people do need to travel back home from where they've been working in the big cities, and we want to be sure that they can be enabled to do so whilst at the same time preventing new outbreaks from developing in areas that are currently green.